On this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we review some storm preparation tips, take a look at a local charity hockey game, and make a stop with Troy at the Falmouth Christmas House. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. December is here, and preparing for Cape Cod winter storms should be near the top of all of our to-do lists. Deputy Chief Timothy Smith of the Falmouth Fire Rescue Department reviews some general storm preparation tips.
You know, some of the more common sense things that you should worry about is that if you know that a storm is approaching, that you should make sure that you have enough food supplies, that you have gasoline in your vehicles, that you're full, because obviously if power goes out, you're not going to be able to get any fuel for your vehicles. Power goes out and it's going to affect your home, especially your refrigerator. So a lot of the dry goods that you can purchase that aren't refrigerated are good as part of your supply. You should have medical supplies, good first aid kit. Really importantly too, common sense, everybody knows, but you should have plenty of flashlights and plenty of batteries to go along with your battery-powered equipment. If you have a generator, it's very important that your generator is serviced annually and that you are very familiar with its operation. Make sure you have enough fuel for your generator as well. And if you are using a generator that's a portable one, you cannot operate it in your home. Generators give off exhaust, and exhaust for us generate carbon monoxide, and that can be a very deadly situation if you are running it indoors. So please be familiar with running your generator and follow the manufacturer's recommendations, and also keep it outside. That goes for gas-powered stoves, charcoal-powered stoves, anything that generates any type of exhaust that can produce carbon monoxide. You need to keep it out of your home. Also, if as a storm approaches, you need to really stay tuned to the local weather channels, and NOAA is a very good site to pay attention to. They give a lot of good information, very accurate, up-to-date information regarding the track of the storm. The last thing I wanted to tell everybody is also about shelters. If shelters are open, the shelter in the town of Falmouth is the Falmouth High School, and it's open when a decision is made on a regional basis to open that shelter, and then notices will be put out, and there are again, you can look at your local community cable television channel, and they will have information that runs along the little ticklers there, and they can get the information. We'll have all the phone numbers available. Make sure your cell phones are all up and running too. And if they don't open up the shelter, some in town they may have little stations that are open up available that they have generator power, such as the rec center or town hall, and you can go there and charge your phone as well. So it's all about educating yourself. There are handouts and emergency preparedness information that's available at the fire station. The fire chief and his administrative secretary oversee the operations of the local emergency preparedness committee. They can be contacted, and they can provide extra information as well, but certainly come by the station. Look at the website. If you need to brush up on any information, it's all there.
Here's hoping for a mild winter. Thanks to Jeff Wyman for that story. It's time now for 3 Things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
At the last Selectmen's meeting, the board voted unanimously to affirm the new zoning administrator, Noreen Stockman. The board had the chance to talk to the new zoning administrator and felt confident in the town manager's choice for this important position in town.
I'm looking forward to the opportunity to hopefully continue where your long-serving zoning administrator has been here, so I'm hoping that I can create a smooth transition from her position and perhaps bring some new ideas if you are open to such, and I appreciate the opportunity.
I know you had a very wide-ranging interests and a lot of different things that you've worked on. Have you actually had to do the work of crafting the decisions?
Yes,
Okay.
I've been responsible for a full, essentially ready-to-publish draft decision since joining Weston.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Falmouth IT Director Greg Banworth gave a presentation to the selectmen updating them as to where the department is in updating the town's email services to falmouthma.gov as opposed to the current falmouthmass.us. Mr. Banworth gave several reasons for this important upgrade and talked about some of the features this new service will provide.
Most importantly, for this discussion, it's also allowing us to do a couple tricks in the background and upgrade a very antiquated, and to be frank, inadequate these days email system that the town has been on. It's a very old and extraordinarily complex system, so upgrading it to what we consider to be the golden standard, which is the Microsoft 365 Live service for government domains.
We receive an email, it may come to the different addresses. We also send an email out to us as to how to change either our phones or our computers at home to make sure our outgoing email is the new email address on the outgoing server, the SMTP, and having to change all that.
Yes, sir. In that process, once we get to the point of lighting up the selectmen's accounts and things of that, should be rather easy.
Assistant Town Manager Peter Johnson-Staub presented to the board the town's efforts to increase transparency and communications with the selectmen's constituents. Mr. Johnson-Staub informed the board on these efforts, which include a consolidated email which all selectmen will receive and an auto-reply message informing email senders that their message had been received. The board agreed these upgrades will help ensure the public that their voices are being heard.
All members have received the message, and then a note that if there's a need for service from a department, you'll receive further response from a staff member.
The reason for this agenda item was partly so the public would understand the way that communications come in and what happens to them after. And in terms of, Peter working on a process, as chair, I wanted to be sure, first of all, that folks understood that their comment, their inquiry was in fact received. So there's that confirmation.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. It's time now for this month's calendar segment. The 55th Annual Christmas Parade steps off at noon on December 9th, featuring floats, marching bands, live animals, costume characters, and Santa Claus. This parade is part of the beloved Holidays by the Sea weekend celebrated all over Falmouth. Friday, December 14th, is the deadline to drop off holiday toy and gift donations at the Falmouth Service Center. Check their website for more information. Operation Santa at Joint Base Cape Cod will be on December 16th this year. Donate a gift, run a toy drive, volunteer your time, pick up toys, wrap gifts, or be an elf. Check the Cape Cod Military Support Foundation website for details. And here at the Mazer Gallery, December's exhibit is entitled Reflections, showcasing mixed media art by local artist Nancy Shadyak. Finally, FCTV will have its annual holiday party and silent auction fundraiser here at FCTV on Tuesday, December 11th from 5 to 7 p.m. Stop by to bid on some of the dozens of items donated by local businesses and individuals. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll pay a visit to Falmouth Police Headquarters to check in on their firearms training. Stay with us. Welcome back. Jeff Wyman recently visited the Falmouth Police Station to talk to Sergeant Ben Guthrie about state requirements for firearms training for Massachusetts municipal police forces.
My name is Ben Guthrie. I am a sergeant with the Falmouth Police Department, and as well as a firearms instructor supervisor with the Falmouth Police Department. In Massachusetts, the municipal police departments are all regulated by the Municipal Police Training Committee, the MPTC, for our training standards. So they set the standards for the state, statewide for all the municipal police departments. With that said, in the last few years, they have increased the standard for the firearms instruction for officers and even new officers coming into the different departments. This Milo system or Megit or simulator system, whichever we go with, whatever we decide to get or funding for, would fulfill that third training scenario for us. And that would allow us to be able to bring officers in off the road and run them through scenario-based training where they're not using live fire. However, they are having the ability to use their duty-issued firearms and make it somewhat lifelike for them. And we can manipulate those scenarios based on whatever we're trying to hit on for training points. Because of the state standards, this is, it put a significant cost burden on each municipality. And how they're able to go ahead and make those 3 training sessions work is really on them to figure that out. And so if you have a simulator like this, then you don't have to have a range per se. You don't have to have anything more than a space in your department to be able to set it up, and you can bring people in off the shift during downtime, and you can go ahead and run them through different scenarios. Besides the training element of this, you can also use it for such things as Citizens Police Academy. You can use it for remedial qualification standards, where there are certain modes in the simulator where you can pull up a actual range type picture and have targets there, and you can actually do remedial qualification training with officers with the use of those firearms in that mode. You can also use it for less lethal situations where we use our tasers or our batons or our OC spray. These are also things that each officer carries with them to use in situations where they don't escalate to lethal force, and they want to be able to preserve life and be able to stop that threat that is being posed to them or someone else without having to use lethal force. So it's not just a firearms simulator. It's actually can be used for simulation training in all of defensive tactics scenarios, and that is really where the training in the country is starting to steer towards, is de-escalation tactics and the use of less lethal force. The real goal is to help train our officers, educate the public, and make our community a safer place.
Thank you, Sergeant Guthrie, for taking the time to inform our viewers about the important effort in keeping a professional and safety-conscious police force in Falmouth. It's no secret that Falmouth is a community that cares about its residents who are less fortunate. Recently, we laced up our skates at the Falmouth Ice Arena to check out the annual Turkey Cup game that benefits the community Thanksgiving dinner at the John Wesley Church.
What we're doing today is we're raising money, which is the primary purpose of our hockey team. And today the game is to benefit the Falmouth Community Dinner that is held every year on Thanksgiving. The teams that are playing today, PAL at Cape Cod, the Police Athletic League, is composed of the 3 points of a triangle that form PAL, and that is the police, the business people who support it, and at the top are the children, the kids. And our team has members of all 3 points. We have police officers, both active and retired, mostly from the Upper Cape. We also have a number of people from the business community, and every now and then we have a couple of kids who skate for us. Today we're playing the Falmouth Old Timers. Falmouth Old Timers is a hockey club that last year celebrated its 50th year of existence. And many of them are also Falmouthites, as Troy Clarkson would like to call them. And as a result of that, they also take deep interest in what goes on within our community, and they're joining us today.
types of guys who are on the team are basically guys who are in contractors, plumbers, electricians. It's all tradesmen that work in the town of Falmouth here and outside. We just love giving back to the community because the fact is it's a tradition thing that we do every year. It's a Thanksgiving, and we just love supporting this type of organization.
We put these fundraisers together over the years, for quite a few years, with the PAL organization as our supporter, Mr. Harry Turner, who also is a big benefactor to the program.
I think the guys enjoy it. Most of them are police officers of sometimes different towns other than Falmouth, but yeah, they like it. The camaraderie is good. We played 6 games last year. We'll probably do about the same this year. Everything that we raise as far as dollars and cents goes to help somebody. There's no salaries. Nobody gets paid. So yeah, I think it's a good thing.
As the saying goes, it takes a village to help everybody out that might be less fortunate, or at least this time of the year might be struggling financially or family-wise. So for me, it's very important. Plus I enjoy the game. So it's been something very special to me. I've been going since been playing since I was 5 years old. So this is always a great event to participate in and be part of.
The PAL team beat the Falmouth Old Timers 10-2, and the event raised close to $8,000 to support the community Thanksgiving dinner. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that coverage. With the holiday season upon us, making healthy food choices can be a challenge for most of us. In this next piece, we visited with Dina Irwin, a registered dietitian with the Community Health Center, to get some advice on holiday eating.
It is so challenging to eat healthy around the holidays. There's so much going on. Everyone's super busy. It's hard to take care of yourself. There's parties all the time. There's people are bringing you gifts of cookies, and it's really challenging. So one of the things I like to do when I have a party to go to any time of year, or especially at the holidays, is to set an intention. Don't arrive to the party absolutely starving, because if you let yourself get so hungry, you're going to inhale everything in sight. And then think about what foods there are that you can eat anytime. You can always eat chips and dip, cheese and crackers, so why fill up on those foods? Maybe snack on some of the veggies. And then think about some of the special foods that are there that you only have once a year. So that's something that you might want to indulge in. When you do indulge, just really eat it mindfully. Truly enjoy every single bite of whatever it is that you're eating. Really taste it. Don't just inhale it and not even know that what you've eaten. So eat it mindfully, enjoy it without guilt. That's a really tough thing, because a lot of times we beat ourselves up over things. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself permission to enjoy a special holiday treat. There is a lot of alcohol involved in the holidays, and that's why staying hydrated with water is really important. And maybe trying to have 1 glass of water in between each alcoholic beverage can really be helpful to slow you down a little bit. And some of the alcoholic drinks have up to 1,000 calories in them in just one drink. Soda, in a small can of Coke, there's 10 teaspoons of sugar. It's a lot. I love to infuse water. I have some mint and citrus today. It just makes it tasty, plus it adds some health benefits. Think about keeping up your exercise. It's really important to keep up your immune system this time of year, and all of those things are going to help. Portion sizes can be a little tricky, so that there's 2 things. One, I always like to think about the balanced plate, so filling up half your plate with vegetables, a quarter of your plate with the carby food, and a quarter of your plate with the protein food. And then, a little bit of healthy fat in there too. And then the other thing is to listen to what your body's telling you. Eat slowly, enjoy the meal. It does take your brain at least 20 minutes to get the signal from your tummy that you're full, so eat slow, enjoy. And when your body's telling you that you've had enough, listen to it. There's always leftovers the next day that you can enjoy.
I, for one, will be taking Dina's advice, and so should you. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that story. When we come back, we'll check out the Rube Run at the Lawrence School and get Troy's take on Falmouth's Christmas House. Stay with us. Welcome back. At the Lawrence School in Mr. Porto's 8th grade engineering classes, students are undertaking a large-scale project as part of a Falmouth Education Foundation funded grant. In the Rube Run, students work to design a Rube Goldberg device to run through the school's auditorium. Each of the 4 teams was assigned a school subject to represent in their device, and the students developed numerous ideas.
We just completed a project called the Rube Run, which is a project that I do at the end of a trimester with about 100 students, where they basically have to design and build a Rube Goldberg device that will run through the school's auditorium. What they need to do is each class period is a team, and they're assigned a subject. They have to include something for science or social studies, English, math, engineering in their section of the Rube Run, and they're assigned a different section of the auditorium. So we start up in the balcony, and they build a device that will run through the balcony and then connect to the next teams, which runs through the lobby where you walk in and the basement of the auditorium. From there, they have to connect to the next period, whose theme is math, and they get to work on the body of the auditorium with the seats. The next period is a team that has to work with engineering, and they get the hallway, and last period is assigned social studies as a topic, and they get the big finish. The whole idea is to get students working together, collaborating, and Rube Goldberg devices can be pretty finicky. So you have to test and retest and test again and find all the little trouble spots, and the key is working for consistency, taking ideas that are great on paper and figuring out how is this actually going to work, because sometimes they work great in process, and sometimes you just have to admit defeat and say this is a great idea, but it's not going to work with the materials we have or within the laws of physics. So they learn to go back and retest, and the trick that we run into is trying to keep it fun and give them enough time to work on it that they really get into it and competitive and enjoy and learn from the process, but not run the whole situation so long that they begin to get frustrated with it, or come up with some solutions that will work for them. The way that students win the Rube Run is I put together a video, usually highlighting the best clips, because it's rare that it will work completely from start to finish with several hundred steps and factors all in one day. But what I try to do is get each section to work, which every year each section has worked at some point. I put together a video connecting all of the pieces that work and then show it to other classes. We can't invite other classes from the school in to watch because there are just too many moving parts. It would be a distraction and could interfere with the process. But we like to show it to the other classes when they're done. And then what I'll do is I'll show each of our team classes the video, show them who was responsible for what section, because they may not have seen what the other teams have done. And then they'll vote on which team they think used the most creative steps and which team best incorporated their subject discipline. We add that in with bonus points if the team runs successfully the first time. We tally up all the votes. That team is awarded the trophy, which we get the names of all the team members engraved on.
Some of the science concepts involved included potential and kinetic energy transfer, gravity, action-reaction, momentum, chemical reactions, and fluid dynamics. Thanks to Ryan Weber for that report. There are many decorations throughout Falmouth to celebrate the holiday season, but one home stands out. Here's Troy's take on Falmouth's Christmas House.
Thanks, Michael. Well, Donna and I are here driving around Falmouth tonight and looking at all of the beautiful homes that are decorated for Christmas. And throughout the community, and you can see one behind me, there's several homes that are decorated really beautifully. But only one of these houses can call itself the Falmouth Christmas House. So we came out to take a look.
It's the house on Christmas Street.
So we stopped at this beautiful Falmouth Christmas House, or as the song said as we came up, the house on Christmas Street. So let's see if we can rouse the owner and find out what's behind this beautiful, amazing display. Hey, Bill.
Troy, how are you?
Look, it's Bill LaRufa, local scouting volunteer. So, Bill, this is your house.
This is my house.
Well, can we come on in and talk about it?
Sure, absolutely. Come on in.
So, Bill, we were driving by and saw the Falmouth Christmas House.
Yes.
And it certainly deserves that distinction as
you.
the most amazingly decorated house in Falmouth. How long have you been doing this, and what got you started?
We started back in 2006. And it started in 2005. A buddy of mine had showed me a house out in Ohio. And it took about a year to figure out how they did it, to research it. It started small, and it's grown each year. And it changes from year to year.
It's grown for sure. You're like the Falmouth version of Clark Griswold. I'm sure
trying.
you get that all the time.
I'm trying.
Do you have a cousin Eddie?
I wish.
So how many lights?
I've lost count. It's thousands of feet of light, especially with the new stuff with the rope lights. I've done a lot more. You'll see out front there's all kinds of new things this year that we did. So I took about a week off from work, just sat in the garage, made things. It was a lot of fun.
Wow, so that's what it takes you. It takes you about a week
About
to put
a
it all
week,
together.
yeah, lots of help. It's, I do cheat. I do leave some of it up year round.
So now we're outside Bill's home here in beautiful East Falmouth, and so there's thousands, tens of thousands of lights here. And one of the things that happens here at the Falmouth Christmas Home is that every year there's something new. So tell us, what's new this year, Bill?
So this year we built the stocking, the big 10-foot snowman, the tree, and the present. They were leftover lights that I had from a few years ago when I was doing a lot of more rope lights around the house. We wound up changing those out. My wife didn't like them as much. We went back to the regular lights, and I thought, I've watched some people on YouTube make some of the designs, and I thought I could do that. And so these were all made in the garage with PVC pipe, heating it up, melting it, bending it, and just with an idea in the head.
Wow, so this isn't prefab stuff you order online. You actually make
A lot
these
of it,
displays yourself.
Yeah, most of it we've made, you'll see there's some pieces. You can tell the store-bought things, which, add to it.
Sure.
But it's as fun to make it as it is everything else. I mean, the trees are all made out of tomato cages, upside down.
No kidding.
And then you just wrap the lights around them.
Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, that
So
makes sense.
It's nice because they stack right up. You put them right in the attic when you're done at the end of the year.
Well, they say that there is no greater effort than to bring joy to others, and Bill LaRufa and his family do that, spending hundreds of hours throughout the year to decorate the Falmouth Christmas House to bring joy to other people. And jokingly, Bill and his family say that he's got the disease. Well, I'll tell you what he does here with the Falmouth Christmas House is a disease, then I hope it's contagious, and I hope everyone in Falmouth gets it. So Merry Christmas to you, Bill.
Troy.
Thanks for all you do.
Anytime.
Let's hope everyone gets the disease. I'm Falmouth Enterprise columnist Troy Clarkson, and that's my take. Back to you, Michael.
It's where everybody meets. It's the house on Christmas Street.
Thanks, Troy, for that take on Falmouth's Christmas House. FCTV wants you to know that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos, or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds of holidays at Highfield. Thanks for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.